All right, so we've got a nice little flow, suitable for all levels, but more focused towards those at beginners, improver level. So we're going to start down into a little shell stretch to start with. So we're sitting bottom back towards our heels, and we're just going to relax the torso forwards. So you can either have the hands out in front, or you can have the arms down by your side. So whatever is more comfortable for you. Dropping the head down. You can put a little cushion underneath the head if you feel you want to, or a cushion underneath the hips, between the hips and the feet. So we'll start in this position with a little bit of breathing. So let's take a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, focusing our breath into the back and into the sides of our ribs. So really feel the rib cage expanding up and out as you take that breath in. And just feel the rib cage closing in and down as you take the breath out. Let's do one more. Breathing in. And out. Shoulders nice and relaxed. So from here, roll up. Then put the hands down. And we'll come into our 4-point kneeling. So hands underneath our shoulders, our knees are underneath our hips. So from here, we'll do a little pelvic tilt. We've got a nice long neutral pelvis and spine. We're drawing our shoulders down away from our ears. So remember that little turtle poking its head out of the shell. So as we breathe in, we stay. We breathe out. Pelvic floor gently lifts. Firing up those deep abdominal muscles as we gently just pelvic tilt, so just the pelvis and the lower spine only. And as we breathe in, we lengthen back into a nice neutral position. So the mid and upper back don't move, it's just the pelvis, the lower spine, as we tuck under into our little pelvic tilt. And then relax and release, and just feel the spine nice and open through the lumbar area, your low back, as you gently tuck the tailbone under, working through those tummy muscles. And then we relax and release. We'll take that onto a nice little cat now. So as we breathe out, we lift through the pelvic floor. Our core muscles are working as we tuck the tailbone under. So we're rounding through the lower back. So we're going to keep on going now. So we round through the mid back, the upper back, and then we're going to tuck in the chin last. We take a breath in here. And then as we breathe out, we're going to release through the tailbone first, through the lower back, the mid back, upper back. We pass through neutral, and then we're going to come up into a little extension as we slide our shoulders down away from ears. We look forwards, and let's make sure that we're relaxing through the tummy muscles. We're relaxing through the back of the pelvis. We're going to bring ourselves back into our neutral position. We breathe out, pelvic floor lifts, firing up the deep abdominal muscles to create that little pelvic tilt. And then we're going to keep on going, pulling tummy button in and up towards the ceiling, towards the ribs. We stay there, focusing our breath into the back of the ribs, give those muscles a gentle stretch. And then as we're breathing out, we're going to release all the way through the spine. Nice length. Passing through neutral, shoulders drawing down as we look forward. We relax through the pelvic floor, relax through the tummy. Shine the breastbone forwards. Let's do this one more time. We're coming back into our neutral position. Shoulders nice and strong. Breathing out, pelvic floor lift, tummies engaging. Tuck under. Gently push hands and knees into the floor as we round through the spine to a nice C shape. Spine is nice and open. Take a breath in here to stay. Breathing out, we're going to release all the way through the spine. Nice length. Sliding shoulders down, we pass through neutral. We relax through the tummy, the pelvic floor, back of the pelvis as we look forwards. And from here, we're going to come back into our neutral position. So we've got a nice gentle engagement through our tummy muscles. Our shoulders are drawing down. We're going to come into our little arm extension. So as we breathe out, we're going to slide one arm along the floor. And then we're going to lengthen and lift. And then we're going to draw the arm back down, hand underneath our shoulder. And the other side, lengthen and lift up. And then we're going to draw back down. Excellent. So as we lift that arm, I want to make sure that we don't sink down to that supporting shoulder. We want to stay nice and lifted. Excellent. Keep a nice length through the neck. Both shoulders drawing down. And then both shoulders square to the mat. So we don't want any rotation going on as we lift the spine. Lift the arm, sorry. So if you are sort of thinking that you are rotating, just keep the arm quite low. So I'm trying to maintain that neutral position. That's it, keeping the torso nice and still as you lift up. So always want to think of an opposite rib-hip connection, like a cross effect on your abdominal muscles, on your abdominal wall, as you lift one arm up. So you'll find a cross from opposite rib to hip. It's a great way to work your core muscles, especially your obliques. And that's going to do the same with the legs. So as we breathe out, keeping the torso as still as possible, nicely centered, we're going to lengthen and lift one leg up and drawing it down. So we're going to keep the movement nice and slow, so it's nice and controlled, and you can really have a feel about what your body's doing as it's moving. You want to feel all the muscles working and kicking in. So as we lengthen and lift that leg up, try and keep hip bones facing the mat. Lengthen up and feel nice and open through the hip at the front. Reaching with the toe to the wall behind. And we just want to be mindful that as we lift the leg up, that we don't lose our abdominal connection and drop the tummy down to the floor and arch through the back. We'll stay nice and lifted. Excellent. And again, lengthen, lift. Supporting the shoulders. Open through the chest. That's it. Let's do one more. And drawing back down. Excellent. So from here, let's tuck the toes under. Shoulders nice and strong. We're going to come into our leg pull front prep. So crease with the elbows facing in. We're going to be locking into our our elbow joints. So we take a breath in to stay. As we breathe out, a split second before you lift up your knees, we want to engage through our core. Take a breath in to stay. And out. Lower the knees slowly down. We'll do this with control as well. So as we breathe out, blow before you go, engage through your centre, split second before you lift off the knees. We want to focus our breath into our ribs, so we don't lose our tummy engagement. And again, think of pushing hands, toes into the floor as we lift the knees up just a couple of inches. Breath in to stay, and out. Lower down. Let's do this one more time. Breathing out. Waist is hugging the spine. Keep that gentle hug as you take a breath in and out. Lower the knees down. Perfect. Just release the toes. We're going to stay on that all four position for a few push-ups. So spine nice and long. We're going to breathe in for 3 counts as we lower and breathe out for 1 count as we push back up. So keeping a nice long spine, core muscles engaged, abdominal muscles lifted. We're going to lower for 3, 2, 1. We push up in 1 count. We lower back down for 3, 2, 1. We push up. So as we're going down, I want you to bring your elbows nice and snug. They go all the way directly backwards. So we can really work into our triceps at the back of the arm. Excellent. And then as we're doing our little push-ups, we just want to be mindful that we're not shifting our bottom back towards our heels. We want to keep our hips directly over our knees. That's it. So we're going to do this 2 more times. And 1 more time. Lowering down for 3, 2, 1. Push up in 1 count. Brilliant. Let's just bring the toes together, keep the knees apart, sit back into a shell stretch. We're going to take a nice deep breath in here and out. And then we're going to come down onto our fronts. Excellent. So, elbows bent, hands by our shoulders. You can either have your legs together or apart, they're nice and parallel, but we want the legs to be active. We're going to slide our shoulders down, elbows on the mat. You can put a little cushion underneath your forehead if you want to. So from here we take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to reach out through the crown of the head. Roll a mulberry with your nose as we lift up into a little extension as we slide the shoulders down. We take a breath in here to stay. And breathing out, we're going to lengthen back down to the floor. We take a breath in to stay. Breathing out, reach and lengthen up. Sliding shoulders down towards hips. So we're not coming up too high. Take a breath in to stay. And out. Release it back down. So we're just working through the mid and upper back only. So if you find it's creeping into your low back, you might be coming up a little bit too high. And just have a little bit more focus on engaging through your tummy muscles if you do feel this in your low back. You might also want to tuck under slightly if you find you are you have an anterior tilt through the pelvis. That might help as well. Sliding shoulders down. Just want to keep the arms, hands nice and light on the mat. I'm going to do this one more time. As we breathe out, we're going to lengthen and lift. Breathe in to stay. And out. Release it back down. So do one more back exercise. Bring the arms down by your side. Relax the shoulders forwards. Take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to open up through the front of the chest, palms facing towards the body, and then lengthen up into a little hover. So your forehead just comes up an inch or two up off the floor. And then as we breathe in, we're going to lower back down, relaxing those shoulders forwards. So we breathe out, open up through the front of the chest, palms face in. As we lengthen and lift, reach fingers down towards our toes, head away from our toes, and breathe in. And relax it back down. Relax the shoulders forwards. We'll do this 2 more times. We breathe out. Open up. Think of drawing the bottom tips of the shoulder blades in towards the spine. Both of these back exercises are great for posture, especially this one if you find the shoulders tend to round forwards a lot. It's great to activate the muscles between the shoulder blades and the spine to strengthen those muscles, as well as to open up through the chest at the front. And relax it back down. Lovely. So let's bring the hands underneath the forehead, legs are parallel. So from here, shoulders are drawing down. Let's keep the upper body nice and relaxed. Let's place a little blueberry underneath our tummy button. And let's just feel our hip bones on the floor. So from here, we're going to come into our one leg kick. So we bend through the knee as we flex the foot and we pulse for 2. Then we point the foot as we lengthen the leg back down. When we go to the other side, we flex, draw the heel up towards the ceiling, in towards the bottom, point the foot, take it back down. So you're going to alternate from side to side and lengthen back down. So as we're bending through the knee and then lengthening back down, I want you to imagine you're moving your leg through treacle or through some water, so you get a little bit of imaginary resistance. So we really want to be working through our glutes and hamstring muscles to bend through the knee and draw the heel in towards the bottom. And what's so great about this exercise is that we're working the back of the body, the thigh, the glutes, and we're gently giving the quads, hip flex a little bit of a stretch at the front. So if you find you feel it in your low back at all, keep the movement smaller. Or you can focus on just gently imprinting the pelvis and spine. So almost think of gently pushing the pubic bone down into the floor. And we'll do this one more time. Breathing out, pulse for 2. breathe in, lengthen it back down. So from here we're going to push back into a sharp stretch. So cross them towards your heels and just stay there for a breath. And out. And from here we're going to roll on up. Come into sitting. Okay. So legs right in front. Feet and knees in line with our hip bones. Reach the arms forward. Just have the palms facing down. And from here we're going to round through the spine. So gently tuck in the chin. As we round forward, reach the fingers forwards. I'm going to round through the spine. I'm going to keep this rounded position through the spine. That's it. So as we breathe out, keeping that position, we're rolling backwards of our sit bones. Keeping the feet on the floor. Keeping the spine rounded, we're going to come all the way up and over. We're on our sit bones, keeping that rounded spine. And again. So we keep scooping out the tummy. So our tummy is constantly drawing in. So you really want to engage with those lower abdominal muscles. Coming up and over. So as we're coming up and over, think of drawing tummy away from your thighs. And again, drawing back. Keeping that nice rounded position. Spine nice and open. Up and over on your sit bones. Drawing tummy away from your thighs as we reach forward. Let's do this one more time. Excellent. Reaching up and over. And from here we're going to lengthen up into sitting. So from here you can either keep the knees bent, you can sit on a cushion or two if you feel you want. We're going to come into our spine twist. I'm going to lengthen my legs. If you feel okay with your legs nice and straight, straighten your legs as well. So this legs straight, bent, have them crossed if you want to, or in like a little long frog position. If you find your strength through your lower back, please sit on a cushion. So from here, arms reaching forward. So if your legs are out in front, let's flex the feet. We're going to anchor our sit bones down into the mat. Feel they're nice and heavy. We're open through the chest, palms facing in. So as we breathe out, keeping the pelvis nice and still, we're going to rotate through the waist as we draw the elbow back. We're going to look backwards towards our elbow, and then we're going to reach the arms forward as we keep nice length through the spine. So we breathe out, we bend through the elbows, rotate through the spine only as we reach the elbow back, looking towards the direction your elbow is going. And then we're going to reach the arms forwards. So as we draw the elbow back, just be mindful that we don't hunch that shoulder up towards the ears. So if you need to keep the elbow or the arm a little bit low, you can do. We want to keep the tension out of those upper traps as much as possible. So we bend through the elbow, we lengthen through the spine. We want to think of lengthening through both sides of the waist. That's it, keeping the legs nice and still. So it's just moving through the waist, just so we can get some nice mobility through the spine. Let's do one more. We'll reach the elbow back and forwards. And from here, let's bend through the knees, pop the feet on the floor, and then we're just going to roll all the way back. So if you're on a cushion, put the cushion away. So we're going to come into a little half roll back, we're tucking under, rounding through the spine. Just going to lower all the way down to the floor. As slowly as you can, or you can come onto your side and then onto your back if you feel you need to. Bring the head and shoulders down. And from here, bring the legs a little bit further in. Let's gently imprint the spine. So low back gently lowers down towards the floor. We lift one leg up into tabletop. And then the other leg, take a breath in. Breathing out, tap one toe down. And float back up. And the other side. And back up. So you can make this movement as small as you want to. The toe doesn't have to come all the way down onto the floor, as the name suggests. What we want is trying to keep the pelvis nice and still. So if you feel the low back is arching up, then you're taking the leg too far. So we're challenging our core strength as well as the stability through our pelvis and spine. So you might find you've got that little dimmer switch with your abdominal muscles that you'll need to turn that up as you lower the toe down towards the floor to help keep that stability. So we're going to do 4 more from here. 4, float the leg up, and 3. We've got 2 more. Shoulders relax. Last one. Draw it back up. Good. So from here, take a breath in. As we breathe out, slight tuck of the chin. We're going to lift and lengthen up into our ab prep. The arms hover up off the floor. Eye gaze comes mid-thigh. We breathe in. We're going to lower straight back down. So you can pop the feet down on the floor if you want to, otherwise keep them up into tabletop. And lengthen back down. Good. And again, slight tuck of the chin as we lengthen out through the crown of the head before we lift up. And down. Let's do 2 more. Breathing out. Breathe it in, lower. Let's do 1 more. We're going to stay up there. We're going to stay. Hands to the outside of the knee into our single leg stretch. Lengthen one leg away. Draw back to tabletop. Breathing out other side. Back to tabletop. So nice and slow and controlled. So no rocking through the pelvis. So again, you've got that dimmer switch. Switch a little bit higher. Switch on those tummy muscles as you lengthen the leg away. The neck is getting tired. You can pop the hands behind the back of the head, give it some support, or you can bring the head and shoulders down onto the mat. And that's it. So if you can take the legs quite low, take them low. Just work to your level. And really fire up those deep lower abdominal muscles to take the load off your hip flexors. Let's do 1 more on each side. Last one. Back to tabletop. Lower the head and shoulders down and just give the knees a gentle hug. Lovely. Bring the feet down. Pelvis nice and neutral. We're going to finish with a few little hip rolls. Arms down by your side. Take a breath in. As we're breathing out, just going to gently tuck under through the pelvis, low back lowers, and then we're going to gently peel the spine up off the floor until we come into our bridge position. Take a breath in here. As we're breathing out, soften through the ribs, the chest, as you place each bone back down onto the floor one by one. Low back lowers into our imprint, our pelvic tilt, and then we rock into neutral, tailbone heavy. Let's do that again. So breathing out, we fire up through our tummy muscles first to create that little pelvic tilt, pushing down evenly through both feet as we peel the spine up until our weight's resting across our shoulder blades. Take a breath in there to stay, and out. We're going to roll back down. Bone by bone, so we get nice movement through the spine. Excellent, tailbone heavy. Nice and long. Just lengthen both legs down onto the floor. Reach both arms overhead. Clasp the fingers and reach towards the wall with the hands and the toes. Nice length through the body, and let's just flex the feet. And think of leaving the heels where they are and then point the toes from there. So it just helps to increase that length through the body. And again, we flex, excuse my cracking toe, and point. Bring the arms down by your side. Bend the knees. Take a nice deep breath in. And out. And that's you done. Good job.